Following on the heels of the Redmi 9 Prime, Realme has come up with two budget offerings of their own, the Realme C12 and C15. Today, I'm checking out the latter of those devices to find out if the Realme C15 was just a knee-jerk reaction or is this a budget phone that you should consider buying. Hey guys, Omar here from C4eTech, and if you do end up finding this video interesting, then please consider subscribing and turning on notifications by hitting that bell icon. Let's now get started. We have the regular yellow box here. Comes with C15 written on top in a big bold font. There's some more branding on the front as well as to the sides. The back carries the spec highlights. Our unit comes in the power silver color with 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of storage. The bottom of the box has some more info, including the maximum retail price. That's 13,000 rupees by the way. Enough looking around the box though, let's open up the lid and take a peek inside. We get this yellow insert that holds the SIM ejector pin as well as some documentation. Next up, we get the phone itself. Peeling off the plastic protective wrap. And the sticker from the back as well. This is quite a unique take on the gradient pattern we have seen so far. Anyway, we'll let the phone boot up. Till then, let's take a quick look at what else we get inside the box. There's the 18-watt fast charger and the micro USB cable. Yep, despite the name, Realme still hasn't transitioned their C series to USB Type-C. Okay, so coming back to the phone, the overall design here is pretty similar to that of the previous Realme C11, but the back pattern is kinda different. The power silver variant comes in 3 shades of grey, and the back here has a grippy texture to it. Feels nice in hand and is pretty resistant to fingerprints as well as smudges. Like the C11, the C15 too is made entirely out of plastic, but the weight here is still over 200 grams thanks to the 6000 mAh battery that Realme has managed to cram in here. Despite that, the C15 sports some good ergonomics. The side have this beveled edge which is easy to grip, and the volume and power buttons, they are both on the right edge of the phone and in easy reach. Looking around the rest of the device, the top is left empty. The left holds the triple card tray and the bottom is where we find most of the ports. 3.5mm headphone jack, mic, micro USB, and finally the bottom firing speaker. Up front we have the 6.5-inch LCD screen. Realme is calling this their mini drop full screen because of the thin bezels surrounding it and the water drop notch up top. Inside we can find the selfie camera which has been upgraded from the 5-megapixel shooter inside the C11 to an 8-megapixel snapper. It takes some decent looking pictures. Cropping in a bit, we can see the details on the skin, and I like the skin tones here as well. Coming back to the display though, specs wise is the same as the C11, and while it does get bright with vibrant colors, it is still an HD Plus panel, and that to me is the biggest drawback for this device. Especially when we have a Redmi 9 Prime that offers a full HD Plus display at the same price range. The internals too are nothing to brag about. The C15 is powered by the same Mediatek Helio G35 processor that we had seen before in the C11. It's good enough for day-to-day usage, especially when combined with 3 or 4 gigs of LPDDR4X RAM. As for the internal storage, we have 32 or 64 gigs, which is expandable thanks to the dedicated microSD card slot. As for gaming, we have the PowerVR GE8320, which can run intensive games like PUBG and Call of Duty, but pales in comparison to the Mali G52MC2 that we have inside the Redmi 9 Prime. Battery life though is one area where the Realme C15 gets its chance to shine. We have an absolutely massive 6000 mAh battery in here, a straight 20% increase in capacity compared to the previous Realme C11. That, when combined with a 720p screen and a less power-hungry chip, means that on paper at least, the Realme C15 should have much better battery life when compared to the Redmi 9 Prime. What's more, it's got a leg up on the charger as well. Both phones support 18-watt fast charging, but Realme includes the fast charger in the box itself. For the Redmi, it's a separate purchase. And then there's the fact that the C15 supports wired reverse charging thanks to what Realme is calling special OTG reverse charging. Moving on to software next, we have seen a lot of Realme UI over the last few months, and well, nothing much has changed here for the C15. We have a system-wide dark mode, game space is as good as ever, and even features like the app cloner and dual mode audio work as expected. Speaking of audio, we have support for Realme Power Sound via the headphone jack, and the bottom firing speaker can get pretty loud. We even tested out the rear mounted fingerprint scanner and face unlock, and they were both pretty fast and accurate. Which then leaves us with the optics. The Realme C15 comes with quad rear cameras. The primary 13 megapixel camera comes equipped with an f2.2 lens. Under good lighting, it does take some nice looking pictures with bright colors. Now in case you want to bump up the saturation even more, we do have Chroma Boost in here. For low light conditions, Realme has equipped the C15 with a dedicated night mode. Now one major improvement from the C11 to the C15 is the inclusion of this. We now have an ultra-wide 8 megapixel snapper that can capture photos with a wide 119-degree field of view. As for the two remaining sensors, we have one 2 megapixel black and white lens and the other one is a 2 megapixel retro sensor. These two help with the rear portrait photography. Realme has added some color filters in here that can add a bit of fun to the usual portrait snaps. So the cameras here are pretty much par for the course of a 10,000 rupee device. But I do like the fact that Realme has gone ahead and added night mode into the mix here. And I think the last line is kind of indicative of how I feel about the Realme C15. Based on my initial hands-on, the C15 feels like a very run-of-the-mill device. Which doesn't mean to say it's bad. There's certainly some highlights here like the massive 6000 mAh battery and the 18-watt fast charger. But other than that, the rest of the device feels very similar to the other phones we have in the 10,000 rupee price range. Yes, the base 332GB variant of the Realme C15 is available at just under 10,000 rupee, while the 464GB variant costs 1,000 rupees more. In contrast, the 464GB of the Redmi 9 Prime comes in at the same 10,000 rupees but offers a better processor, more RAM plus storage, a higher resolution screen, a Type-C port and a 5 megapixel macro sensor, but loses out on the bigger battery and faster charger. So which one of these two phones would you pick up? Let me know via the comments below. Also, what do you feel of Realme gradually increasing the price of their C series? After all, like the base variant of the C15, that's almost 10,000 rupees, like just 1 rupee shy of it. So what do you guys feel about that? Again, let me know via the comments. And with that, we come to the end of this video. As usual, like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications by hitting that bell icon if you haven't yet. Thanks a lot for watching till the end, guys. Have a good one. Cheers.